And basically, the only thing that is keeping this controller in production is Super Smash Bros. Melee. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure there'd be no reason to keep producing GameCube controllers. Yes! Alright! Alright. So it looks like what I thought was the case was actually the case. There's the inside of the house. We're like way above Delfino. You know what's probably happening? Probably when you enter the house, in addition to like teleporting you to it, it like needs. I'm guessing that the inside of the house is like kind of detailed when you compare it to the rest of the world. So they probably like unload Delfino Plaza textures. Well, not really unload from memory, but like they stop rendering them so they don't have to use, I guess, that much GPU, and so that they can use that GPU power to render all the details of the indoor, of the indoors of the house. And there's probably a trigger when you enter the door that says do two things: one, teleport Mario to the indoor area that we have set aside way above the map. And two, load the textures for the indoor and unload the textures for Delfino Plaza. That's probably why we can't see the indoors when we look up into the sky. It's probably like they don't load, or they don't render any of the textures unless you enter it. So like when you walk in the doorway, it's like, okay, load it and unload everything else. So since we kind of walked in the doorway, like we kind of clipped our way into the doorway, but then we left through another means, we never reached the trigger that said, okay, now we're leaving the house, unload the house textures, and reload all the Delfino Plaza textures. We never hit that trigger. We hit the one on the way in, but not the one on the way out. So I'm guessing that that's why, like, a ton of this stuff is unloaded. Maybe, I guess they didn't need to unload everything. They've still got trees and nozzles and residents and waterfalls. I don't know how they decide what to load and what not to. But wow. Wow. Good call, Pikmin, on having me do this. This is pretty interesting stuff. Let's go exploring. Oh, I know where we are. We're underneath the overpass thing in the canal. Huh. Oh, wait. Okay. No, I was about to say, it seems like there's ground here that I'm not running into, but I am. Okay. Get that shine. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't get it any easier than I can get it in the normal world. In fact, it would probably be harder just because I can't see any of the things that I'm colliding with. All the collision is still there. The only thing that's not there, it seems, is the actual rendering of objects. Of some objects. Others, it seems, are unaffected. So yeah, my water's still hitting walls and floors, and I'm still walking on floors. But knowing where they are, yeah, that's another issue. Okay, so that's the canal. So we should be able to rocket over here. And there should be a roof. Yeah. And then the Shine Gate is there. Yeah, okay. That's like a tower with a Yoshi door on it. This is the shine that's inside a tower, so I should be able to get on top of it, yeah. Where am I right now? Okay, that's the Shine Gate. That's Noki. I'm not sure if I know where I am. Is that the plaza? Oh yeah, that's the plaza, because those are the 3 nozzles right there. What? What is this wall here? Oh, I'm inside a freaking tower. Okay. Okay. Whew. Oh man, I'm getting a little bit claustrophobic. Okay. So let's clean this belt. Funsies. How? I'm not familiar enough with this tower to know why I'm not ascending. It's weird that water is all under the island. It doesn't seem like it's all under the island. You can kind of see like where it's getting cut off right there. There's like a corner at the top of my nozzle right now. If you look like directly above my nozzle, there's a corner and there's an edge that goes along there. The rest is just blue. Actually, yeah, no. Is this accessible? Is this water that I'm looking at right now accessible? I don't think that it is. It has a different texture than the rest of the water. Why is that? Is this like the is this the canal? No, this is just like a closed body of water. Is this anything? Yeah, why does the water underneath me right now have a different like texture or animation or whatever than the rest of the water? Let's see if we can get there. Okay, so canal is over there. Those sprinklers. Oh wait, yeah, no, I'm in the water that has it. Oh, that explains it. It's not that the water where I was has a different texture. It's that the water where I am always has a different texture. It's a distance thing. See how the water that I'm approaching is changing into the new texture? It's a distance thing. It's just like, I guess the water that I'm in right now, I guess it looks better, but probably requires way more to like render. So only water that I'm near is like that. Okay, so that also explains the whole why is there water everywhere under the plaza thing. There's not. There's just blue. Oh wait. Now it looks like it's not blue. Is that a distance thing too? Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's just water underneath all of Delfino Plaza. So, yeah, that brings up a couple of questions. My first instinct as to why there's water underneath all of Delfino Plaza is it's easier. Like so in graphics and games and rendering, like everything's planes, right? Like PLANES, not the flying kind. Like everything's just planes on 2 dimensions. So you hear in graphics, you hear a lot about vertex count, like how many vertices you can render at a time. That's like a big deal. A lot of graphics programming is vertices, like manipulating vertices, transforming vertices, like moving, rotating, skewing, like all the calculations that your GPU does. Like you know how people say that GPUs are better at certain kinds of calculations than CPUs? That's the kind of calculation it's better at. It's better at manipulating vertices. Like at the more basic level, it's better at multiplying matrices by matrices and vectors. But what that means is it's really good at manipulating vertices. So 4 vertices is like less to handle than 8 vertices, right? I mean, would you agree with that? That like rotating and moving and manipulating 4 vertices is half as much work as manipulating 8 vertices. This water is represented by 4 vertices, and that's it. And they're like way out there in the distance. Like, I mean, there's got to be an end to them somewhere, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm not like super into graphics programming, but I've dabbled. So, like this entire body of water is represented by 4 vertices, but if you want it to only be present in certain areas, that suddenly becomes way more than one plane. Like if you want like a channel of water that stops at the edges and then like it opens up into a body of water that's like a square, like just call it a square for simplicity, like that's 2 planes. That's the channel and the square. Like you can't represent both of those areas with one set of like plane coordinates. It has to be 2 planes that touch each other or overlap or whatever. So by putting all the water in one giant plane that covers everything below the map, you only have 4 vertices that you... I mean, I guess you never really have to manipulate them because it's water doesn't really move. But yeah, that's my first guess as to why the water is everywhere. Like as far as planes go, rendering a large plane isn't harder than rendering a small plane. They're the same difficulty. Like a 1x1 plane is just as easy to render as a 100x100 plane, because the coordinates are all relative. But like, yeah, like even if you had a 1x1 plane next to a 100x100 plane, they'd be the same difficulty. But like 2 1x1 planes is harder to render than one 100x100 plane. So by like putting all the water in one plane, you're like really simplifying the amount of calculations that you have to do to render it. As far as texturing goes, though, that's another argument that I don't have experience in. I don't know if it takes more power to render the textures on all the water underneath you at all times. Obviously, they have something going for them where the water that's super far away from me is just blue, so that's like probably really easy to render. And then the stuff that's close to me is like more water-like. It would seem like even if I'm on land in Delfino Plaza, like in the actual plaza square, I would guess that the water directly underneath my feet, which in the story doesn't exist, but in the graphics world does, I would guess that it is still being like rendered as this water is. And I would guess that just because, I mean, it's a GameCube, all the GameCubes are the same. If you have the power to render water while you're in it, while also rendering the rest of the island, then you have the power to render the water while you're not in it, and while it technically, while it officially doesn't exist, but while it technically does, like while you're on land where there shouldn't be water. So like, I guess it might just be a simplicity of programming thing. It might be that it actually doesn't take any more power to render water everywhere than it does to render water only where there should be. I don't know. Texturing is a world that I'm not too familiar with. But yeah, wow, this stuff is really interesting. In case you haven't guessed by the amount that I'm talking about. Let me look at chat. Wouldn't it be easier to have black out of bounds under the island? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see that you already understood. Yeah, that's exactly right, Pikmin. Now can I explain this in English? In English, it doesn't matter how much water you're rendering. It matters how complicated the shapes are that represent the water. So by making the water like an uncomplicated shape, like a giant-ass square, it's actually easier to render. But again, I don't know if that applies to texturing as well. But that's the gist of what I was going through. Okay, so how do I get out of here? I'm guessing that I can't, because I think I would have to go back up to that door. I don't think the rocket nozzle is powerful enough to reach that, but let's try. Actually, I'm positive the rocket nozzle is not powerful enough to reach that. But I'd like to see how close we can get. So yeah, where's that tower? Let's go on top of that tower. There's something. Oh, I can't zoom in. I wanted to first person. Oh, what level is this? Is this... Oh, this is Rico. This is where I exited. Wait, so can I enter the door and then exit it? If I enter this door, I should be teleported back up, right? It won't have anything to do with the textures. Like, it'll try to unload Delfino Plaza and load the buildings, but they'll just already be in that state. So yeah, I'm going to guess. I've never done this before, but I'm going to guess if I walk through this door right now, I will appear inside the house, and when I walk back out, I will be in normal Delfino Plaza again. So let's see if that happens. Oh, I missed the door. Where's the door? Am I at the right building? What's going on? Yeah, I'm at the right building, I think. Oh, this must be the door right here. No? Is this the door? What's going on? Maybe spraying water would help. What? What? Where am I? Okay, I just fell off, so I was near the edge. Am I underneath? Yeah. What? Okay. I'm at the corner, I think. What is going on? Let's just rock it. Okay, I feel like I was just on land right here. Did I just, like, get lost? I'm completely lost now. The M has disappeared, so I have no point of reference. Okay, okay. So this is Rico. Right? Does that texture actually tell us anything? I don't know. Or is it the same for every level? No, yeah, that's Rico. That tells us that it's Rico, I think. Unless it's the same for every level. So this should be a door. Why is this not a door? This is the left side of the door. This is the right side of the door. It's just a player clip. I guess I was wrong. It's just a player clip. Let me make sure that this is the whole building. Yeah, this is the back side. You don't think the door is loaded? Yeah, I think you're correct. Okay, so let's just go inside Rico. I'm sure that'll fix everything. Hey, Fern. How's it going? Clip in again? Yeah, right. Like I could get those visual cues when everything is invisible. There's no way that I can clip in again. Not when it's invisible. Yeah, okay. That was definitely really interesting, though.